So again, lay out your saran wrap, open up your other pie crust, pumpkin pie. Roll it out, the other one's freezing. We're going to bake it for a couple of minutes. Crust freezes. We're going to put either parchment paper or tin foil, whichever you want. Lay down some dried beans or some pie. They sell some pie weights. Bake it for 20 minutes. Take off the weight and brush the whole crust with some egg and bake it for another 3 minutes until the egg dries. And this helps the crust not get soggy. So you freeze it for 15, bake it for 20 minutes with some pie weights on it. Take off the pie weights, brush it with some egg, bake it for 3 minutes to dry off the egg so the pie crust sets and it doesn't make a soggy pie crust. So you have a perfect pie crust for your pumpkin pie, and actually for any pie. Roll it out and roll out your pie crust as if you were doing a square, corner, corner, center, and you'll have a perfect round pie crust. And always readjust it, because right now the edges are crumbly. So I take off the saran wrap for a second and squish in the edges. Not all pie crust you have to bake prior to putting in the filling, but for pumpkin pie you do. Because if not, the crust will be just mush. And then we do our crimping. Try to make it as pretty as possible. These are some pie weights, actually mixed with some garbanzo beans. The dried beans, of course. I mixed it because I'm always making more than just one pie. My oven is heated at 350. Distribute your 350, 20 minutes. Take off the weights, brush it with some egg, and bake that just for 3 minutes to just dry out the egg. Our timer. Ready. Now, it's 15 ounces of cooked pumpkin. I use sugar pumpkin. It's less grainy than a jack-o'-lantern and it's more meaty. And we're going to put in 15 ounces of pumpkin. If you don't make a fresh pumpkin, you can use canned organic pumpkin. They sell it in your market everywhere. 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, nutmeg, and allspice, a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and a teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 cup of sour cream, and your 15 ounces of pumpkin. We're going to blend it together. And while we mix this, oh, and 3 eggs. Can't forget the eggs. 3 eggs as well. 3/4 cups of maple syrup and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. You can take out the bean or vanilla extract, or if you have vanilla bean, the inside of a vanilla bean. And we're going to heat this up until it becomes steamy and foamy. And then when that happens, we're going to add in some heavy cream. But let's heat this up. Vanilla bean, they sell vanilla paste at some places. And if not, you can use vanilla extract. So 3/4 cups of maple syrup and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. A teaspoon of kosher salt. A teaspoon of cinnamon. 1/4 teaspoon of our clove, nutmeg, and ginger. Spice, nutmeg, and ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. This will be all written below. 15 ounces of pumpkin. Our spices, our 1/4 cup of sour cream. We're going to blend this together. And then we're going to add our 3 eggs. We've put 1 egg aside because after the crust has baked, we're going to take off the weights and brush it with some egg wash and bake it for just 3 more minutes. Always crack your egg in a separate area, but you never know if you're going to get a bad one. We added our 3 eggs, and now we're going to add a cup of cream to our maple syrup that's been cooking. It's almost like It's almost like making caramel. Just like when you cook sugar down and add your cream, you're making caramel. We're doing it with maple syrup. And we need a cup. Your maple syrup has cooked and steamed for approximately 3 minutes. And we're adding our cream. We added our cream to our maple syrup, which makes it a nice caramel. Look at that color. Now we're going to add this gradually into our pumpkin mixture because you do not want to cook your pumpkin mixture. So we're going to temper our pumpkin mixture. As they would call it, tempering. Oh, it's so good. Remember, you're tempering your pumpkin mixture. You do not want to cook it. So do it in 3 stages. And then we'll put this in our prepared pie crust. You're going to bake the pie crust 20 minutes. Wash it down with some egg wash. Bake it for 3 more minutes to dry out the egg. This will help not get the crust soggy. And then you're going to bake your pie until set. And you'll have a delicious pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. Now we're going to prepare the next one, which is just the basic. This one was a bourbon pumpkin pie. And I almost forgot one thing. The bourbon. 2 tablespoons. So once your pies have set and cooled down a little bit, here's 1 pie crust. We're going to put some more egg wash on it. Sprinkle some sugars on the edge. And fill it up with our filling. To crimp your pie crust with some tin foil, because the pies have to cook for an hour and you don't want the crust on the edge to burn. Sugar on the edges here. Dump out the excess sugar, or your smoke detector will go off. Each pie will cook for approximately 50 minutes or to an hour until set in the center. This is our bourbon pumpkin. Put it all in, it'll go up to the edge, but when you cook it, it'll come down. This is our basic pumpkin pie one. Different in color, because don't forget the bourbon one has the maple syrup, while this one is just sugar. We're going to put this on now so they don't burn, because it's going to be there for 50 minutes, and then for the last 10 minutes you'll take it off just to get it golden brown. So we'll be back in 50 to see how they look. They'll be set for 50 minutes. So remember, 50 minutes, put some tin foil trimming or a pie crust shield so it does not burn the edges. And the last 10 minutes, you'll take off the shield just to get the edges golden brown. So we'll see you back in 50. The pies are ready to come out.
He's the nicest person in the whole world.
Look at this. A perfect bourbon pumpkin pie or a perfect basic pumpkin pie. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Enjoy. Buen provecho.